What's up, everybody? It is Sippin Sundays in the building. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm on a little early, so I just wanted to give people time to get on the stream with us because we got a lot to talk about today. I'm so excited about being with you. I think there is a lot that can be said about everything that's going on concerning our current environment and why we are in the situations that we are in today. But I'm excited to share some of the nuggets that I've got with you today. So I'm just going to give folks just a couple of more seconds to log on. I'm going to turn my phone down. Somebody just hit me up. Y'all know. Y'all already know. Okay, I'm going to turn that down. One more again. All right. So it is 3:30. I want to respect the time. I got to respect my own content. So hello, everybody. If you don't know me, I am Tina Smith, the Financial T. We're going to be here every first Sunday. This is Sippin Sundays, where we make these dollars make sense right here. And I'm so excited about talking with you today. There are a lot of things that's going on. If you are in tune with the news, if you have not lived under a rock within the past month, you know exactly what is going on right now. And things are a little weird right now. We are creating some new normals around here. Kids right now are being homeschooled. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. So kids are being homeschooled, including my own, who's 14 years old, 8th grader. So that is what it is. But it's great. I enjoy my time with him. But if nothing else, I want to encourage everybody to take advantage of the time. I don't like the reasons why we are where we are, but it's still an opportunity to take some time to do what we need to do. As far as our relationships, our families, our homes, people that are close to you, just make sure that you tell them how much you love them, how much you care. And every day is not promised. So just be mindful of that. In the meantime, while we are here on this earth, we're going to be taking care of our money. Now, if you have been with us for the past couple months, you know that last month, the month before, and now this month, we have been talking about money. We've been talking about tithing in particular. First couple of times we've talked about this, it has been from a where and how. Today, we're going to cover some why behind, and I'll share my own personal testimonies. But then I'd also like to give some hints and tips about what to do in this situation while we are about to receive government assistance. I wanted to give some tips about the last, 10, 15 minutes of our show to share with you some things that I have been getting. Of course, I don't know exactly who I'm talking to all the time. So I want to make sure that I have a broad range of topics. If some things that I may say don't apply to you, it's okay. Take the good things that I'm given and apply them to your lives. So let's get into it. So why tithe? Of course, everybody, and I don't need the collective eye roll here because it happens. But if you are a believer like me, you know what scripture says about tithing. You know that we should do it. You know the scriptures that talk about it. I'm not even going to get into all that because you already know what it is. But I want to give you some reasons why we should tithe. Number one, look at the environment we've got going on right now. I mean, there is, mass hysteria. There is panic. If you've been to the grocery store, you ain't seen bleach, Lysol, you ain't seen toilet paper in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And if you are, you got it, on the low, your plug hooked you up, but that's an aside. But anyway, there is mass hysteria going on. And so it is one thing for us as believers to make sure that we're grounded in God's word. Our local churches are super important in this time. Who do you think everybody turns to in a time of mass hysteria? It's going to be the churches. And if we don't tithe, those churches will not be in existence. So I'm glad that over the years we have been giving faithfully to our church. I recognize that we might not be congregating right now physically, but our bishop has found ways for us to do it in a virtual way. We give our tithe on a regular basis. In our household, we do every first of the month. And so I just got my receipt on the first about our giving. So that is still important because, our leaders at the church still getting the word out, when it's time for mass hysteria and people are not sure about what's going to happen to them and, their souls and what's going to happen to their souls thereafter. There's a lot of folks who come to the church. So it's important that the church stays in operation. So I give, that's one reason why I give, is because I recognize that there are others that, may not know the Lord. And there was once upon a time I didn't. And I'm so glad that people before me gave so that the church that I currently attend and I'm dedicated to is still in operation, because I'm telling you, my marriage would be a statistic. I would be a statistic. My son would be a statistic had it not been for our local church. So that's just one reason why I tithe. Another reason, and again, this is from a personal standpoint, the scriptures. I don't want to insult your intelligence. You already know. If you're a believer like me, you already know what some of those scriptures are. But I will say that tithing has changed my life as well. I recognize that the word talks about how when we give, it shall be given to us. I also recognize that, when we're diligent, God blesses that. And Proverbs also talks about those things. It also talks about making sure that we give so that when there's times where we need, it's been given to us as well. So here's a personal testimony. I remember one time we were at our church and our bishop had called for a season where it was going to be some sacrificial giving, which really means that this is going to be above our normal tithe and offering. And so this was going to be to where we would have to, in our own home, have to, pull our belts tight and not do some things that we might have wanted to do. At that time in our lives, we were struggling with our faith. And this was to us an opportunity to have that faith, that little mustard seed of faith that each one of us, have. Time to exercise that. So that's what we did. We decided, my husband and I decided that we would give a particular amount. At the time that we made the decision to give it, we did not have it, but we made a commitment to do so. And the following days after us making a commitment, life is what it is. Life is going to happen. You get that flat tire, you run out of something you didn't expect, or there's an emergency that you have to attend to. So life happens. So in this particular case, life happened. But when we think life happens, we think of it in a derogatory way. In this case, life happened. And we needed some furniture. And I'm telling you, when we made that commitment to give to our local church in a sacrificial way, everything that we needed was on sale. Now, if you know me, I don't buy anything full cost anyway. I'm always on the hunt for a good sale. You know how I do. But in these cases, man, it was just like out of this world savings. I mean, coupons on reductions and discounts. I mean, it was just crazy. Even when we bought the house that we're currently living in, the discounts that they gave, if we were trying to buy this house today, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, just the opportunities and the doors that open when we give freely. And I believe that as we give, we will start receiving not only in monetary form, but we'll also receive in our mindsets, in our relationships. And I know personally when, our attention diverted from things and stuff and actually to the kingdom of God, we found that all of our needs were taken care of, just like God's word says. But he also started blessing some things that we were doing as far as our jobs, promotions that we know that, we deserved, but yet we didn't either qualify for, or, we knew that from a times perspective, we didn't meet certain qualifications, but yet the promotions were given to us anyway. I mean, there is just so many things and opportunities and doors that have opened for us simply because of our tithing. Another reason why I would say that I've tithed is, so if you know me, I've been a financial advisor, and I left the firm in 2018. I can't say last year anymore, but it was in 2018 that I left. And it wasn't an exciting departure, but it was one that had to be made. And I'm telling you, when I started telling, some of my friends at my church that this was happening, they were also, clients, or some already knew what I was doing. And, they looked at me and was like, so this is stuff that you've been telling us to do. Now it's your turn to do it, Tina. And I'm like, wow, I guess I never looked at it like that. And so, being able to give to my church so I could congregate with people who are like-minded like me, and that are, now sharpening me the way that I had been sharpening others, and just a place to where we can worship together and congregate together. I mean, I wasn't really big on having friends of the female species before. And it's just the way that it was in my life. But I'm telling you, I don't know what I would do without my sisters. But I recognize that if it wasn't for somebody like me or like us that give, and other families that give to our local church, there would be nowhere that we can actually congregate and worship in freedom, and then be able to sharpen and pray for one another, right there on the spot, and walk out, a totally different person. So those are just a few reasons why I give. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to use the chat, please go ahead. Tell me why you think you give, and, why that's important to you. But I will say, though, that, as I'm giving, I'm not giving just the check in the box. I'm not doing just because, but it is a cheerful heart in which we give. And I know that when we give in that attitude, it is the attitude that is absolutely blessed. And I'm just so excited to be able to give and not have any worry. Now, from a financial, so my hat was on, as your sister in Christ. Now I'm about to switch it up as a financial coach. So here we go. So from a tithing perspective, as a financial coach, tithing is such a discipline in which, when you give, you have to be cognizant of what is left. Now, of course, that tithing is 10%. If you haven't watched the videos after this right here, go watch some other videos and catch up. But tithing is 10% of your gross income. It doesn't, the Bible does not say gross, or doesn't say net, but for us, it's gross. And from a financial professional's perspective, there you go, say that fast 3 times. It is a discipline. And, that's one of my favorite words. It's not a cuss word in the financial industry, I promise you. But when you have that discipline to give your 10%, you will then, again, we're talking about why tithe, but you will then see how you can manage that other 90%. And you'd really be surprised about what the things that you can live apart from. And especially in today's environment, and if you're a recovering Starbucks addict like me, you already know that in this area where I'm at, there's not a lot of Starbucks drive-thrus. There's a lot of walk-ins, but those are closed. The Starbucks may have some drive-thrus around here, and there's one maybe about 20 minutes from my house. I'm not willing to do all that. Not right now, but give me a couple weeks, I might. But all in all, I have been living without Starbucks, and I'm still okay. And if you are somebody who, have been struggling with living without Starbucks, it's okay. But I want you to consider the money that you have been saving. Now, I'm not saying that, drinking Starbucks is something that'll totally throw away your financial future. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for me, for somebody who was going 7 days a week and sometimes twice in one day and spending hundreds of dollars on my caramel apple spice with the extra caramel in the, let me stop. Sip my tea real quick. Got a little too excited, but I am living without it. You are living without it. Take the money that you found that you aren't spending. Some of us are staying home. Some of us are, not commuting to work. That's some gas money that you're not spending. Ooh, and in the DMV where I'm at, there's a lot of Easy Express. I call it the HOV still. It is the HOV to me. But the HOV, you're not spending money on the HOV. So there are some things that you're not spending money on. Find out what those dollars are and save those dollars. So from a tithing's perspective, you really start to be creative after you've given your 10% to the church or to charitable organizations. There might be some folks who watch and you're not believers. And, I'm praying for you anyway. But if you're not, I still want you to exercise the concept of giving, even if it's to a local charity. Still give. I'm telling you, the principles will work for you. Tell me you want to know. But when you do tithe your 10%, you get mighty creative on that other 90%. And you'll find that there's some things that you can't live without, that you can rather, CAN, live without. Find out what those things are. Start investigating. We got time. Start investigating what those things are so that you can see how much money that you are really going to be able to save. So, once you figure it out that, you actually was okay without that, hot chocolate with the almond milk, extra chocolate, extra shot of chocolate, whipped cream, chocolate on the top. Yeah, I miss it. But I'm living without it. I am living without it. And so for you, if you live without it and you're okay, then I want you to go into the next few months and maybe this becomes a lifestyle for you. Start budgeting in the money that you've saved. So if Starbucks is a line on your, Starbucks is just my favorite. It might not be a thing. You might be a Dunkin' person. That's fine too. You might be a Pete's Coffee or whatever your thing is, and you're able to live without it. And you have that line item on your budget and you see what you've budgeted. And this is for the people who actually did budget that extra spending. Some of you don't. But I want you to just be aware of the money that you have been saving. And now add that now to your savings account and be able to start saving. And I also want to share with you some other tips that I've been on, other social media platforms and giving interviews, and it's been super fun. But I wanted to make sure that my subscribers had this same good info. So if you have not been following me everywhere, some of the same info that I have been given lately, I want to make sure that I give to you. Number one, if you are a renter or someone who pays mortgage, it may behoove you to connect with those individuals that you owe, whether it be the leasing office, whether it be the mortgage lender. Give them a call. They might be offering some programs for you, especially in this time right now, to where everybody is not, able to affluently, pay these items. One, two, if you're like me, an entrepreneur, this is negatively affecting your business. I can't go out and do my speaking engagements and do my book signings. Y'all know my book signings. Y'all know I autograph all my books. Is this one autograph? Y'all know I autograph all my books and send them out. But normally, I'm at events and I'm talking to people, I'm touching them, I'm saying, hey girl, hey, but I can't do that right now. So I can't actively sell my services and my business. So of course, this is negatively affecting, what's happening. So don't be afraid to find out what options are available to you. So call them and find out. I know for our mortgage provider, they are waiving our mortgage payments for 90 days. I'm super excited and I'm thankful for that. And some agencies might not waive, fully, but maybe a partial payment. But don't be afraid to pick up the phone and find out what that looks like. Now, number two, if you haven't done this before, I highly encourage you to do this tomorrow. Call your utility providers. If you have not gotten on a budget plan with those utility providers, I highly recommend you do. This way you have the same level payment on a monthly basis. My household, summertime, the lights go down, but the air conditioning skyrockets. So of course I got this peak valley situation happening with, different bills. And of course in the winter time, my heat goes up. So my gas bill just skyrocketed. So call them, see how you can get on a budget plan or a payment plan to where your payments are equal every month. That allows you for some type of foundation to start budgeting with. So you're not, caught up in surprises. So that's the second thing that I have been recommending to others. I wanted to make sure that I got on here and shared that with you. The number 3 thing I would say, you might be getting the stimulus check whenever it gets here. I don't know when it's going to get here, but we do know that it is coming. I beg of you, do not spend that stimulus check. Put it in savings. If you didn't have savings before, let the government stimulus check start that foundation for you. And I hope that as you start seeing that you have money in savings, then you'll start to feel better about everything that is going on around you. You'll start feeling better about your own financial situation. And you can have some confidence that when the next emergency comes up, and it might not be an emergency on this global scale like so, but everybody has their own emergency. So with that being said, I implore you to not spend that stimulus check, but actually keep it in savings. And that way, as emergencies arise, whether it be another pandemic or whether it be, a flat tire in your life, you can have some confidence that you can handle that situation based on the money that you have in savings. So number 4, if you have not done this already, highly recommend that you dig in the weeds about your debt. Go and find out who you owe, how much you owe them, the interest rate, and then also the monthly payment that you are obligated to pay. I know it's going to be hard. I know nobody really wants to do this, but I would rather you find out exactly where you are so that you can properly plan on where you're going. So I implore you to do those 4 simple things. But let's run back about this situation concerning the stimulus check. Now, you may be saying, well, Tina, you just said save it, but then you start going into debt and, I'm supposed to look at, my interest rate, which is already 20%. And, you telling me about, who I owe and how much I owe them, da, 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 da. You're right. I did. And then you might be thinking, well, wouldn't it be smart? See, I'm thinking now, Tina, wouldn't it be actually smart to put that stimulus check on that debt and then buy out? Wouldn't that, Tina? I'm thinking, girl, and I hear you. And I appreciate your forward thinking. Here's why I would still say no. Don't do that. Here's why. You recognize that some of us, I'm not even saying, I'm gonna pick on me. The reason why I got my first credit card back in, I'm about to tell my age, 1998. Reason why I got my first credit card back in 1998, because I wanted to be cool. Okay, I was in the military. In order for you to frequent, I'm about telling myself again, the base club, which turned into a nightclub on the weekends, you had to have a specific card. And in order for you to participate in that, you had to have this card. And after a while, it became a credit card. So in order for me to be cool and be where everybody else is at, I got said card. And before I knew it, I was signed up. The payments or the dues to the club was due on a particular monthly basis. So of course, the convenient thing to do was just throw it on the credit card. Oh, just throw it on the card. We good. Then I got excited and started going to places like Forever 21. This is when I was a size 0. I'm not that today, but I used to be. And, some of the clothes I wanted to buy because I had to look good for the club. Come on, I had to look good, right? Right? Okay. But anyway, my 21-year-old mind was thinking this. And so before I knew it, it got out of control. The limit was $1,000. I had already spent 1,100. So yeah, you heard that right. $1,000 was my limit. I hit above that. So if you know this, then you've done this before, because when you hit your limit, surpass it, then you are now obligated to pay your minimum payment and the late fee on that next billing cycle. And I didn't always have the minimum payment for the late fee, and I didn't always have it. And I carried the one, and it was worse. So with that, so now I got the minimum payment, the late fee. Now I also have the fact that it was over the limit. So then I had an extra fee on top of that. So just fees on fees on fees on fees on fees, right? So I did. It was so stupid. It was so dumb. But me personally, I try to keep up with everybody. So that's why I got my first. That's why I got my first credit card in the first place. And, I could have said that it was, I'm an emergency. I had an emergency and I had to change all flat tires of my Toyota Corolla for $99. It wasn't even that. I wanted to be cool. That's the bottom line of it. And so it was time and maturity that let me know that that wasn't always good to continue that habit. So I decided, after trying to get my whole financial life in order, to change that. And later on, I was still carrying that same over limit balance, And finally, I was engaged to my husband by then. This was years later. This is crazy, still had that debt on me. And we worked together, and we paid it off. After that, we had some money savings and got married and lived happily ever after. Well, been 16 years. It ain't been. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But all in all, it was important for me to figure out I needed to stop what I was doing. So in order for me to really figure out how to get out of this hole and this mess, number one, I had to stop using it. Number two, had to figure out exactly where I was, so then we can properly plan on where I was going. So yes, I hear you. I know. Yes, I hear you about maybe putting that stimulus onto that debt. So here's the rest of the why I would say no. Say an emergency happened, right? I decided to take my $1,100 credit card. Okay. And of course, this was back in the 90s. So $1,100 was a lot of money, on a credit card. And again, back then is on what, it was based on how much you could say. Back then, you could say what you wanted your limit to be. And I knew $1,000 would be my limit. I couldn't pay that, but hey, I went for it anyway. Now, your limit's now predicated on what you qualified for. So let's say that I have now a credit card that's $25,000. Let's say I took that stimulus check and put said stimulus check on this $25,000 credit card. Now an emergency has happened. What resources would I use then to pay for a said emergency that just happened? You're smart people. You already know the answer to that. I would have then had to go right back to the debt that I was desperately trying to pay off to take care of that emergency. So now I'm in more debt. I could have just saved the money in the first place and then continue to keep my debt where it is and work to pay that down on separate money. But at least I had a situation to where I could cover that next emergency. So that's why I say no to putting the stimulus check onto debt. I hear the rest of y'all saying, ooh, but might be a nice time to put the money in the stock market. Tina, the prices are low. I hear you. I get it. But if you've paid attention to what's been going on lately, though this may be a great time to, purchase some stocks. I mean, the prices are low. You're absolutely right. But that's not the money that you use if you have nothing in savings. So again, recommend putting that money to the side. And if you have extra money to put into the stock market, that's great. Do you? But put that money in savings. So it is already 3:59. The time went by that fast. I am so excited, though, to have been here with you today. If you are not a subscriber already, go and click that little subscription button. Make sure that bell is rung. So the next time we have this, you are ready. So again, Sippin Sundays happens every first Sunday of the month. So I'll see you in May at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. You know how to get in contact with me, but if you don't, here it goes. So my website is not Make Dollars Make Sense, even though I should maybe change that, but I'm not. But it is the Financial T, TheFinancial, the letter T.org. That is, again, thefinancialt.org. On there is all my social media platforms. You can click on whatever icon you like, and my page will come up. At the Financial T on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, the Financial T on LinkedIn, and obviously you're here with me, so you know what it is on YouTube. Let's see what else. Oh, you can also purchase my book, It's Your Turn, Walk in Your Financial Purpose, right from my website. It's not the top banner. You keep on going down and it'll say something like, no, she didn't. Yes, I did. I wrote a book. Yes, I did. But anyway, you click on that button and it'll take you to my link tree and you can order your autographed copy today. It is 4:01. I'm over time. I want to respect your time. Peace. Love you guys. And I will see you next month right here on Sippin Sundays. Ooh, this good too. I got the lemonade with it today, y'all. Yay. All right, I'm quit tripping. Bye, guys. Hey, stay home, stay safe, and stay Rona free.